from far, far, far longer ago than we have conventionally
Okay.
dated, which is ancient Sumer, which is we put it at
Yeah.
about 6,000 years ago.
Yeah. Like the first, it's difficult to update it with precision, but or at least to within a few hundred years. But it's roughly 5,500 years. Like if you say, like, what is the oldest like stone tablet?
Yeah.
Because this is, if you're like an archaeologist, if you were to discover something older than that, you'd be very famous. It's like they really looked hard.
Yeah.
And 5,500 years really is kind of if you say like any kind of evidence that I've seen that is actually substantial is writing is 5,500 years old.
Yeah, in terms of writing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what they believe is that there's very little left of this ancient civilization other than things like the pyramids, other than things like the Sphinx. There's a geologist that really stuck his neck out. His name is Dr. Robert Schoch from Boston University. And what he said was his theory is that there's deep water erosion all over the temple of the Sphinx, where the Sphinx was carved out of, that is indicative of thousands of years of rainfall. And the last time they had rainfall in the Nile Valley was around 9,000 BC. So what he believes is, because back then the whole Nile Valley was a lush rainforest, then eventually receded into desert.
Okay.
Yeah, so that whole area, like even the Sahara, used to be rich rainforest, and it receded into what it is now. But if you go back then, he believes that's when that thing was constructed. And he says
Yeah.
the physical the geologists look at it, and if he shows it to them in terms of like just shows an image of the erosion and doesn't tell them where it is, almost all of them will say that's water erosion from thousands of years of rainfall.